Welcome all to my project presentation. The title of my project is Nonlinear Optical Studies of Certain Organometallic Compounds. We will begin our discussion by talking about light. Light has always fascinated man by making the world around him meaningful, useful, and wonderful. The question is, how do we see light? In order for us to see something, it either needs to emit light directly, like sun or light bulb or firefly, or else have photons of light bounce off it and into our eyes. How we do see light itself? You can't bounce off light. Just like you can't bounce the slingy waves or ripples in water off each other. They just pass right through. Plus, if you are looking at a photon of light in the normal everyday way, that means your eye or camera or photo detector will absorb it and then it is gone. It is like if you want to test how much weight a bridge can support before it falls down. Once you have done your measurement, you have the information you wanted, but you no longer have a bridge. So in order to see light, we need to use non-destructive testing. One way of doing that is to make a super dark, super cold box and cover the inside with a really shiny mirror. A mirror so excellently reflective that photon of light bounce back and forth more than 1,000,000,000 times before being absorbed. In that time, they will travel a distance equal to one trip around Earth. This box is also so cold and dark that only occasionally will there even be one photon inside. And if there is one, how do we tell without destroying it? Well, we send an atom through the box, an atom in a superposition of two different atomic states, just like Schrödinger's cat. If there is no photon inside the mirror box, then when the atom comes out of the other side, we will most likely measure it as being in a certain one of state. Let us call it as spin down. And if there is a photon in there and we carefully send the atom through so it doesn't actually destroy the photon, the atom-photon interaction changes the odd. So now it is an overwhelming chance that we see the atom as spin up. After sending through a few atoms, if they are mainly in spin up state, then we know there is a photon in the box, and if they are dead, there is no photon. It is kind of like sending a pinwheel through a dark chamber. If it comes out the other side spinning, you know the wind is blowing. If not, there is no wind. In fact, once we know there is photon in there, we can use this cat measurement technique to measure and manipulate other things about photon. We can see how long it bounces back and forth before it gets absorbed. Check if it is in superposition and even force it into a superposition like Schrödinger's cat itself. So not only one can see light, we can now use Schrödinger's cat to measure it. Why the need of measurement of light? The electron shuffles around inside our computers, move pretty fast. Theoretically, the top speed in silicon is about 1 lakh meter per second, which is a good thing because the faster they move, the faster chips can do calculations, the faster I can refresh Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. But there will be always something faster than it, isn't it? Light. Why don't we use photons in computer instead of electrons. We already use photons for communication. Fiber optic cables are what keep the globe's computer interconnected as they hurtle data around at lightning speed. But when it comes to process the data, we convert light to electrons and run them through transistors. The conversion uses energy and electrons are comparatively slow, so researchers are exploring how to build light-based transistors instead. Transistors are the fundamental building blocks of your computer's CPU. They are basically nanoscale switches that will either stop current or let it flow. It is important that a transistor output can act as the input for the next transistor. Actually, it has to be able to send the current onto at least two transistors for logical signals to propagate, and it has to preserve that signal quality to keep errors to minimum. In the present study, we have made optical switches using certain organometallic compounds. Lanthanum phenol red nanocomposites are prepared by simple chemical methods at room temperature with PVA as the passivating agent. The structure: UV visible spectroscopy, luminescence, linear and low threshold optical properties were investigated. The average crystalline size is calculated from X-ray diffraction pattern and it is about 8 nanometer. The sample exhibit low threshold non-linear absorption and negative non-linear refraction are studied using Z-scan techniques. The optical limiting of 442 nanometer continuous wave laser light displayed by these nanocomposite films is also demonstrated. The result shows that lanthanum phenol red nanoparticles film have great potential application in future optical and photonic devices. Before we see an all-light chip, we will probably see hybrid optoelectronic system that take the advantage of light's ability to transmit data quickly across large distance. But until transistors reach their lower size limit and can't improve anymore, it looks like we'll be relying on the slow old electrons to do the mathematical heavy lifting. The inspiration of this project work is 2012 Nobel Prize in Physics for Sergei Haroche and David J. Weinland. Sergei Haroche says, I use atoms to study photons, and he uses photons to study atoms. While David Weinland says, it is long way before we have a useful quantum computer, but I think most of us feel like it will eventually happen. Thank you all for patiently listening. Thank you.